how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day and welcome to another episode of Pokemon Ideas. This is a video series on my YouTube channel where I go over different ideas and concepts which I believe would be beneficial for Pokemon Go. I really want to see this particular idea get implemented into the game because right now I feel like Pokemon Go has an engagement problem, and I really do think that the implementation of this idea would solve pretty much all of that. So what is the idea that I want to propose for today? Well, I think Pokemon Go should have global leaderboards. Leaderboards would be essentially a way for Niantic to track all of your different metrics in Pokemon Go and then hand you out rewards based on those metrics. And then you could also compare yourself to other players around the world and truly claim yourself as the very best. I really do think something like this would be great for Pokemon Go as of right now, because I really do not think there's any way for any player to claim the spot of being the absolute best Pokemon Go player. But if Niantic were to make it official, I think it would drive a lot of excitement towards this game, especially for most of the hardcore players who want to actually be the #1 player in the world. There's always a lot of debates regarding whether or not it's going to be Brandon Tan or it's going to be Fleece King as the #1 player. Well, with the introduction of global leaderboards in Pokemon Go, I think we could finally determine who the best player is. And I really do think Niantic could get very creative with it. Like, they could tailor make these leaderboards around any aspect of Pokemon Go. They could make it all about PvP, raid battles, catching Pokemon, how far you walk, or a combination of all of the above. But of course, we did actually have global leaderboards in the past, but it was done through unofficial means, through different communities. And I really feel like that old leaderboard was what drove a lot of players to play Pokemon Go really hard back in the day. But I really do not think that same system would work in the current iteration of Pokemon Go. The reason why I say that is because there's so many players that have joined Pokemon Go over the past couple of years, and for all of the people who are day one players like myself, they would have a huge leg up against those new players. So I really do think that in terms of gameplay balance, having a classic leaderboard system would just simply not work, which is why I'm proposing that we do something a little bit different with global leaderboards and have it something that resets every so often. Alright, so my idea of leaderboards in Pokemon Go involves different aspects of the game, and you're going to be ranked accordingly based on those metrics. For example, in this mock screenshot, you could see that there's going to be 3 different criterias, specifically catching Pokemon, because you can see the collector medal, catching grass-type Pokemon, as well as doing legendary raids. Depending on how many you do in these 3 metrics, you're going to get ranked in a global leaderboard, and the top 5 players are going to get various rewards. Now, my idea of global leaderboards, it's not going to be something that is permanent. It's basically going to be reset every single season, and at the end of the season, you're going to get various rewards. We'll get more into that later. But I really like the idea of global leaderboards being dynamic based on the different seasons, because every single season usually has different themes. And because of the dynamic nature of these global leaderboards, it's going to keep the game feeling fresh, because you cannot just simply do your typical grind and rank high every single time. You will have to try out different aspects of Pokemon Go and master every single area of it. Like, for example, remember the season of Rising Heroes? That was all about Team Go Rocket and doing battles. Well, you could have the leaderboards for that season be all about doing battles against different areas of the game, like PvP and Team Go Rocket. So I think this would be a great idea. It would definitely create a lot of buzz around every single season, and in different aspects of Pokemon Go, you're going to be tested if you want to become the very best. Now, another thing they could do is have very temporary leaderboards based around special events. Like for Pokemon Go Fest, they could have a specific leaderboard just for that event, and players could get themselves special rewards and a whole bunch of bragging rights during that event. I think this would be really cool, mainly because whenever you go to Pokemon Go Fest, there's typically a whole variety of different kinds of trainers, and it would be really cool if you were to get recognition for playing really hard during that event. Now, what would be the point of doing these leaderboards? What would be the point of ranking as high as you can? Well, of course, you would get yourself some decent rewards. I kind of set this up very similarly to what is currently already in the game in terms of a leaderboard system, and that is, of course, Pokestop showcases. So when the season ends, you will get various rewards depending on how far you ranked in each of the 3 different criteria. And then, of course, your final rank will also grant you a lot of different premium rewards as well. So this would definitely drive a lot of players to be fully engaged in the game, especially in the various different areas. And I really do think that for something like this, if Niantic were to implement it in a very cohesive way, I think a lot of players would actually enjoy it. And who knows, rather than just doing seasonal global rankings, maybe they could just do a full ranking leaderboard that's going to be permanent and all going to start on a single day. Or they could do it yearly as opposed to every single season. Regardless of whatever they do, I really feel like they need to have some sort of leaderboard system so that players always have something that is motivating them to continue playing Pokemon Go. Because as of right now, if there's not an event that people are caring about, or if there is not a good raid boss, then players just simply do not play the game as much as they could. There's just a lot of things in the game that feels like a constant grind and a big chore, so having a leaderboard system would actually add some meaning behind some of those grinds. It's something that I really hope Niantic considers, mainly because I really do feel like Pokemon Go is reaching a tipping point where a lot of the grinding is no longer meaningful. So I really do think that having a leaderboard system like this would inject a lot of relevancy behind every different aspect of Pokemon Go. So yeah, there you have it. This is my idea for how Niantic should do global leaderboards. And like I said at the top of this video, I really do think that something like this could solve a lot of the current engagement problems that Pokemon Go is facing. I think that if they were to implement leaderboards, a lot of players would get really excited for it. And even if they do not care about the current raid boss or the current events, they will still be actively playing Pokemon Go on a daily basis, mainly because they want to get higher ranks on those leaderboards. It's a great way for players to brag about their skills in Pokemon Go, how much they are dedicated and how much they're grinding, as well as giving them certain incentives like different items and different Pokemon. Yeah, I think overall this would be something great for Pokemon Go, and it's something that I really hope Niantic considers. But yeah, in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Now, let me know your thoughts regarding this idea down below in the comments. Do you feel like a leaderboard system would be a good thing for Pokemon Go? How did you think of my implementation ideas? Do you think you would have done something very differently? Definitely share what those thoughts are in the comments, and let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you ended up enjoying it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And also don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to every single patron on my Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the absolute best way to do so is by joining my Patreon. If you become a paid Patreon member, you get a permanent spot on my in-game Pokemon Go friends list. So that means when it comes to remote raids and the friendship system, if you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And of course, if you want to support my channel in a very different way, you can do so by following me on social media. I'm on the platforms that you see on screen. My handle is @Jinsula. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow, and we can interact over there. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.